All right, good evening, everybody. Hello again. This is the Fantasy Sports Boss. Fantasy Football Week 2 is already here. Here we go. We got a blockbuster game tonight. Philadelphia Eagles, Minnesota Vikings. We have top shelf fantasy football studs across both teams. Justin Jefferson, TJ Hawkins, Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, Dallas Goedert looking to rebound. I mean, Jordan Addison, there's prime fantasy football players all over the place tonight. So there's going to be points aplenty. It's going to be a very high-scoring game. And, there's certainly a lot of intrigue as well. Can the Philadelphia Eagles offense get back on track after what was a dud last week against the New England Patriots, where they almost lost the game, almost blew the game? And can the Minnesota Vikings, get back on track as well after a really ugly loss to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? And what is the Eagles running back situation going to look like with Kenneth Gainwell not in the lineup tonight? So is it going to be Rashad Penny getting the lion's share of work? Is it going to be Boston Scott? Is it going to be DeAndre Swift? We're going to go over all of that. Also, my to the moon, to the bench start-sit picks for this week, plus picks for tonight's game. Eagles-Vikings went 3-2 with the picks last week. Going to aim to do a little bit better. Looking for a 4-1, or hell, even a 5-0 week would be great. San Francisco 49ers are the survivor pool pick. Don't overthink it. There were a lot of anybody who took Seattle last week wasn't the greatest pick, not the strongest team, and they paid for it. You always want to just take the obvious ones early. Don't plan for 6-7 weeks from now. You could already be out. Anybody that took the Commanders, they almost lost to the Cardinals. I mean, you just gotta go with the obvious choices and just work your way from there. Hello, Ed. How are you guys? The comments in the message board there in the chat, you can just post your comments there or questions. I'll get to them. We're going to go over the injury report. Perhaps the biggest story of the day, injury-wise, is the fact that we already talked about Kenneth Gainwell, but that Austin Eckler missed a second consecutive practice for the Los Angeles Chargers, and it's increasingly looking like he will not suit up against the Tennessee Titans. And obviously, this is as big as it gets, losing Eckler, who comes off a 117-yard rushing performance, scored another touchdown. He's been money, 12 touchdowns, each of the last 2 years. Hello, Aaron. How are you? Hi, Mark. Hi, DH. The guy has been ultra productive, but I was concerned coming into the year about injuries because he's a smaller back and he's had a lot of work the last couple of years, and he's 28. Well, one game in, he's already got an ankle issue. So if I were to venture to guess right now, I'd say he doesn't play. So, if you have Austin Eckler in your team, you want to either hopefully you picked up Joshua Kelly. If not, start making alternative arrangements now. And speaking of Joshua Kelly, he had a good game rushing for over 90 yards last week. I know he didn't catch a pass, but if he has to take over for Eckler this week against Tennessee, he's expect a lot of touches and even some targets as well. Now, Tennessee is not a good matchup for running backs. They're one of the stingiest teams stopping the run, even going back the last couple of years. The way you beat the Tennessee Titans is through the air. All right. So, Keenan Allen, especially Mike Williams, they're going to have some really big games. And as a matter of fact, slot receivers do very well against the Tennessee Titans. So my first to the moon pick of the week is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's, he had a bunch of targets last week. He led the Chargers in targets. I had concerns about his age coming in, but at least for now, he's remaining a focal point of this offense. And like I said, Tennessee Titans, the way to beat them is through the air. And, he's going to get a lot of targets in this game. Hey, Fantasy Dog, how are you? Dallas Goedert. Yeah, Dallas Goedert, it was just a one-game thing. I'm not worried about Dallas Goedert. I think he's going to be just fine. Hello, Justin. How are you? Traded Goff, Curtis Samuel, and Kenneth Gainwell for Ramondre Stevenson. Feeling good about it? Yeah, you should. I mean, it doesn't sound like you really gave up anybody. So, that seems like a good trade for you. Deontay, let me see. I fell a little bit behind on the chat here. But anyway, getting back to what we were saying about, Austin Eckler, I think we got to be resign ourselves to the fact that he's probably not going to play. All right, Gus Edwards versus Cincinnati, D Swift versus Minnesota, Tyler Algier. Oh, I'm going Tyler Algier until they show otherwise. He was really good last week, and he was really good last season as a rookie, a fifth-round pick. Especially down the second half of the season. He was really good. So that's who I would say. I traded Javonte Williams for Kamara and Deontay Johnson. Long-term, it's a good deal. I think Deontay Johnson, when he comes back, he's going to be fine. Alvin Kamara, I think, will be good, in a pass receiving role at least. Would you trade Jalen Waddle and Kyron Williams for T. Higgins and Breece Hall? 100%. Not even a question. I am as big a Breece Hall fan as you can get. TJ Hawkinson at least 2 touchdowns, 100 yards receiving tonight. No linebacker, Nakobe Dean. It could be, but the problem, Death Lord, is that Hawkinson, was much higher yards per reception with Detroit than he was with Minnesota last season. And the first game as well, the yardage was very mediocre in relation to how many catches he had. I have Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Dallas Goedert, Philly D, and Hurts. Wow. Should I put Higby over Goddard? And I have Brandon Ayuk. So I clearly you're an Eagles fan. Higby over Goddard. You could. They're playing the 49ers. There's going to be a lot of underneath stuff, I think, because the Niners are going to shut down the receiving game. Have Brandon Ayuk, please pick one, a tight end, 2 wide receivers. You got to play Brandon Ayuk for sure. Devontae Smith or A.J. Brown. I would say Devontae Smith over A.J. Brown. And should I put Higby over Goddard? I mean, you could. I think they're gonna make a proactive attempt to get the ball to Goddard. I'd stick with Goddard. I want to start Penny tonight. Talk me out of it. I wouldn't. I really think they're going to try to get DeAndre Swift going. So I would not go with Rashad Penny because he's very touchdown dependent. Those guys who are very touchdown dependent, they're usually not good bets. Kelly Value will go up, yes, but it's going to be a tough matchup for him. Gio will outscore Bijan. Long term in PPR, no, but touchdowns maybe. Would you play Kelly Sunday? If I had to, I would, but I would try to do better because that's a tough defense. Justin Fields versus Tampa or Brock versus you have to go give Justin Fields another shot. I mean, it was bad last week, no doubt about it, but I think you got to go Justin Fields. All right, first super chat of the night. Palumsky, always very generous, $1.99. Swift or Montgomery, Mike Williams or Flowers. I'm going Mike Williams. I think that's an easy call with the Tennessee secondary. I think Flowers can only really come down from that awesome debut that he had. As far as Swift and Montgomery, you got to go Montgomery because you know what you're getting in terms of workload. And, listen, he was fairly good last week. He scored the touchdown. They trust him in pass protection. So I would say Montgomery over Swift and Williams over Flowers. And thanks for that super chat, Palumsky. You think Swift is flex worthy? Flex only, but I would try to do better. Did the Eagles sit Penny because of a short week? They're down on Penny as it is. They're just not. They're really kind of disappointed, I guess, in his production in preseason, and they're just not sold on him. Thank you, Boozy. I appreciate that. I won't say I'm the GOAT, but Matthew Berry's definitely the GOAT. But I appreciate that. And you're welcome, Chris. Aaron Rodgers' injury. How bad does this hurt Garrett Wilson? All right, we talked about to the moon. Well, to the bench is Garrett Wilson. And I hate to say it. And you might think to yourself, oh my God, how could I bench Garrett Wilson? He was my second round pick, early second round pick. But the Jets are taking on the Dallas Cowboys this week. All right. So the fresh Dallas Cowboys defense, fresh off of a 40-plus fantasy point dismantling shutout of the New York Giants, a Brian Dable-led offense. So, that is a scary matchup for the Jets, all right? And we already know the Dallas secondary is loaded. They are absolutely loaded. I don't think they're going to have any problem shutting down Garrett Wilson, and because Zach Wilson just can't get him the ball on time. That's the problem. It took a miraculous touchdown catch by Wilson. Garrett Wilson. That's going to get annoying. Garrett Wilson to save his fantasy day in week 1. And listen, I have Garrett Wilson in one league, and it is absolute gut-wrenching development with Aaron Rodgers because, like everybody else, I thought he was going to be Devontae Adams in this offense. I really did. But I think we really need to temper our expectations. And like I said, to the moon, to the bench. I actually am saying to the bench this week for Garrett Wilson. It could be another shutout. I mean, that defense is for real, 100%. All right. If I'm able to trade Garrett Wilson, who would you suggest I go after? That's very hard, Aaron. I don't think you're going to trade him now because everybody knows what's going on there. And I think the name value is just not good enough yet to trade him. I think you should hold on to him, see if he has a big week this week. And if he does, then unload him, try to get maybe a DK Metcalf, somebody, or a Keenan Allen, an ace caliber receiver who, has been downgraded a little bit, in terms of draft ADP this past summer. Trade Garrett Wilson for Ramadre. Yes, I would do that. I definitely would do that, Robert. Hot take, Cowboys defense has another 30-plus. Very well. They very well could. If Eckler sits, Kelly's a must start. Who else would you start? Pierce, Cook, White, Algier. Not Pierce, not White. My God, he was so bad. I would go James Cook. I think this is a smash spot. Another one, to the moon, James Cook. You guys are picking up my to the moons and to the bench already. Another to the moon for this week, James Cook. All right, he has snap percentage was great. He got pretty much all the carries, lots of targets, and now they're taking on the Raiders. This is a get well matchup for every Buffalo Bill, not named Stephon Diggs, who did ball out last week, partly against Garrett Wilson, making it even more impressive. So it's going to be points galore for the Bills in this one. Musgrave or Hurst? Hurst. I mean, you're talking to the guy who's been telling you all summer to draft Hayden Hurst, and he goes out and he scores a touchdown that first game. And listen, I hate to say it, I've been a big fan of the guy. I think Adam Thielen is completely washed. I just think he is. Thoughts on Terry McLaurin? All right, so another guy to the bench, Terry McLaurin. All right, he was terrible last week. I don't know if the turf toe was still bothering him. I would definitely send him to the bench until we see progress. Jahan Dotson probably is passing him now on the target depth chart. So I have some concern about him right now. Do you like Nico this week? Yes, Nico Collins, the targets are there, Fantasy Dog. Absolutely. He's the number one guy right now. I'm not buying that Robert Woods outing last week. So I'm good with Nico Collins. Thoughts on Swift? I like Swift, but as only a flex. That's it. I mean, but I would also try to do better because there's just too much unknown about this Eagles setup at running back. Because even though I placed my bets on Kenneth Gainwell, I didn't even think he was going to have as many touches as he did last week. Collins or Dotson? I'm going to go Collins. And here's the thing, guys, about Sam Howell. He could become the first quarterback in NFL history in his first 3 starts to not only pass for a touchdown, but run for a touchdown. How about that for some trivia? He could be the first quarterback in NFL history to rush and pass for a touchdown in his first 3 NFL starts. Somebody dropped Christian Kirk this week. You know what? I'm not a Kirk guy. Zay Jones, Evan Engram, and Calvin Ridley, you could say are ahead of him on the target depth chart. Sweet tea. So I wouldn't go crazy on him. Main running backs are Walker and Connor. Listen, Connor never comes off the field, and Kenneth Walker got a lot more targets and touches than I thought he was going to have. I think you're absolutely fine there. I think AJ Brown will probably get doubled. Yeah, I mean, it seems like that's the case. A.J. Brown is drawing the coverage while Devontae Smith is kind of feasting underneath. And listen, Devontae Smith is one of the best separation guys in the NFL. I don't care how big he is. He was phenomenal week. When he was phenomenal down the stretch last season, he's going to be really, really good this season. All right, so Jerry Jeudy, full participant today for Denver. All systems go for him. So if you were holding on to Marvin Mims, feel free to drop him. Cortland Sutton, I would put him back to the bench. Greg Dulcich is already out. Adam Trotman, if you're really desperate for a tight end, he got targets last week. Trade Breece Hall and Zay Flowers for Derrick Henry. No, definitely not. Definitely not. I would not do that. I'm not a Derrick Henry fan, not at 29 with all those carries. Full PPR thoughts on wide receiver core 4. AGB, Garrett Wilson, Watson, Dotson, Addison, Elijah Moore. I might trade Wilson for Ramondre. Yeah, I would do that. And listen, I like Elijah Moore. Somebody stupidly dropped him in one of my leagues, and I picked him up. So I am a big fan of Elijah Moore. Start 2, Monty, Algier, Pierce, or Herbert. I'm starting Monty and Algier. Should I drop it? New England defense for Denver versus Commanders, Miami D versus New England, or Commanders versus Denver? Miami D is not good, as we saw last week. I think they're better than that, though. You know what? I would probably go Denver. New England over Denver. Late to the chat. That's okay, Fowler. We're going to be on for a while. You might have touched on it, but who do you start? PPR, London or Addison? Not London. I'm not touching London. And I got out from underneath London. I'll tell you about the trade I made. Daniel Jones or Brock Purdy? Brock Purdy until further notice. All right. So Herbert or Burrow. I'm still going Herbert. I love Herbert. And, I don't know if Burrow is compromised or not. So I traded Drake London. Somebody offered me a trade, and I see what he's doing there. He wanted Alvin Kamara, he wants Drake London, and he wants Antonio Gibson, right? And he offered me Mike Evans, Tyler Algier, and Quentin Johnson, who's really, just to throw in. I did the trade. All right, I did the trade. So my 4 receivers now are Amon-Ra St. Brown, A.J. Brown, Mike Evans, and I have Michael Thomas in the flex. I just wanted to get the fuck out of Drake London. All it took was one game. and I was ready to dump him. Now, I know I traded Alvin Kamara, which is not, great, but then I quickly pivoted. The guy who owned Aaron Rodgers, I traded him to a Tagovailoa, and I got away from Rashad White, and he traded me Kenneth Walker. So my 2 running backs right now are Kenneth Walker, Aaron Jones, who's, may not play. I have Tyler Algier, not great at running back right now, although I like my top 2 if Jones plays. And I got out of London and Rashad White after 1 game. And I couldn't do it soon enough. Garrett Wilson for Gibbs, full PPR. You know what, Robert? I might do that. I can't even believe I'm going to say that, but I might do that because I think Gibbs is going to get more work as we go along. Would you start Pickens or Hodges over Wilson? I guess Pickens. I don't love any of those guys, to be honest with you. Start Kirk or Addison, Najee or Kelly. I gotta go Kelly because I don't want anything to do with Najee, and now go Addison. There's gonna be a lot of points scored in that game. Zay Jones and Brandon Ayuk, Death Lord. I love Brandon Ayuk. I think Zay Jones, it might be a little up and down, but listen, I told you guys all summer that was the guy I said would lead all rookies in receiving, and I'm standing by that. You Zay Jones, you said. I'm sorry. The chat's going fast. Zay Jones, same thing applies to him. I think it's going to be hot and cold, where Ridley is really the top guy. Start 2, A.J. Brown, Mike Williams, Jerry Judah, Puka Nakau, DK Metcalf. Puka Nakau's going to catch 2 passes for 10 yards this week. I'm starting A.J. Brown and Mike Williams in that scenario. Jalen Hurts, over under 47.5 rush yards. I got to go. I think I might go over on that. This is going to be the Vikings defense sucks. So, Kenneth Walker, anytime TD, I like that one. And I also like Justin Herbert, over under yardage 286. I like the over on that one. I do like the over on that one. All right. And guys, if I miss your comment, just post it again because the chat's going faster and faster as we go along here. All right. So Travis Kelce was limited again. Clyde Edwards-Helaire back from his illness. Kelce will be fine. He's going to be playing in this game. Mark Andrews was limited with the quad. So we're going to have to check back in on this tomorrow with Mark Andrews. We got to see if he'll be able to go there. I hope he will. Hayden Hurst hamstring, a little concerning, but he was limited. I think he's going to be out there. Just going through this really quick. John Mechie hamstring was limited. Jalen Waddle full participant, and Raheem Mostert, that was a veterans rest day yesterday. No reason to worry about that. Traded 2021 for Algier. Listen, they like Algier, and they're going to use him as they showed last week, and he's backed it up now the entire second half of last year and now at the start of this season. All right. Breece Hall was limited. He's going to be limited a lot this season, especially early. They're not just going to throw him to the Wolves right now because he still has to make his way fully back from that injury, even though he looked awesome last week. Thank you, Kevin. I really appreciate that. Pick one, Hollywood Brown or London. Oh my God. I mean, you're going to make me say London. I mean, I can't pick anybody that's Josh Dobbs as a quarterback of. I mean, you know what, Kevin? Can I say anybody on your waiver wire instead of those guys? I guess London, but man, that's a brutal double right there. What was your most confident pick for tonight in terms of fantasy or betting? Because if it's betting, I don't have a firm pick on tonight's game. It's just a lean. But I think the Vikings, I think it's going to be closer than we think. I think it was at 6.5. I think it's going to be a little closer than we anticipate. Juwan Johnson limited with a calf injury. And, there's been some decent tight end values. And listen, if you need a tight end this week, Zach Ertz going against the Giants, who have a long history of not defending the tight end, that's somebody you might want to look at. Now, he's just a catch and fall down guy at this point. But Zach Ertz, got a lot of targets. Hey, Grind Down Stop, how are you? Hollywood, Addison or London? That's better. I'll go Addison, 100%. Someone offered me Jefferson for Bijan and Cooper. I would do that. I think I would do that. And listen, I was worried about Tyler Algier taking more work from Bijan Robinson than we expected. And while Bijan looked great in week 1, he's going to need a little bit more in the way of touches to justify that first round price tag. Actually traded London for Watson after week 1. He was that awful. Yeah, I mean, listen, I got out from under him as well to get Mike Evans. And I'm not a Mike Evans fan. You know that. But I had to just get out from him. There was no way I was going back with him again this week. Trade Pittman for James Cook. That's fair. I like, both of those. That's a fair trade. Clap. I think that's a fair trade. Raheem Mostert, full participant. All right, so DeAndre Hopkins has missed the last 2 days. And again, guys, I'm going to say it for the 8,000th time. Wide receivers over the age of 30 can't stay healthy. DeAndre Hopkins, 31. He's missed practice Wednesday. He's missed practice Thursday. So that's one of the top guys that we're going to have to check out later on to see tomorrow to see if he plays. Pierce or P. Ryan? I got to go Pierce on that one. Javonte Williams or Jamal Williams? Javonte Williams. I'm going to go Javonte Williams. Jamal Williams looked horrible last week. Let's see. Just finishing up. All right, so Zach Moss, full participant. Zach Moss is going to be the guy this week for the Indianapolis Colts. And listen, it's one game. But I always do this. I admit when I'm wrong. The Anthony Richardson thing looks a lot more immediately promising than I thought it was going to be. Top 5 quarterback in his debut. He probably would have scored on a rush if he wasn't, taken out of the game with that knee injury at the end of last week's game. His usage was tremendous. They let him throw the ball a whole hell of a lot more than I thought. He's got a thing going with Michael Pittman, and design runs were a big part of the offense. He's got the right coach, the right offensive mind to help him. I have to admit, I might be very wrong on Anthony Richardson. I was very worried about him. I doubted his ability to be an every week fantasy starter right out of the gate. Like I said, one game, but the way he's being used, I think this could be really good. And I was wrong. All right, Fantasy Dogs, $5 super chat. All right, hold on 1 second. My thing is bugging out. I'm old and sick. Can't hardly keep up. Just supporting you. We good. This guy's got. Oh, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's very nice. Very generous. It does help with the channel, Fantasy Dog, and I appreciate it. I hope you're feeling better if you are sick. Everybody's getting sick again. I mean, this shit is back again. No politics. Never politics on here, but that whole thing is becoming a mess again. You don't watch the first half of the game. Death Lord, I'm not going to do that tonight because I have a football, because I do coach high school football. I have to do a Zoom meeting tonight that I just can't get out of. So I 100% will be doing that next week. I know I was saying that for this week, but life gets in the way sometimes, unfortunately. But that's why I wanted to come on and do this. To see, just to chat with you guys before the games come on. Would you start Jay Gibbs this week? I would. I think he's going to exponentially get more, touches as we go along. If Hopkins is out, do you start Burks? No, I wouldn't start either one of those guys. And listen, Ryan Tannehill was really bad. I mean, it was, you can't make any more excuses for the guy. I mean, he was really bad. Jacoby Myers remained in concussion protocol. Devontae Adams, full participant today. So Jacoby Myers has one more day. I mean, he could conceivably clear Saturday too. But it's not looking so great for him either. Kendry Miller back practicing. All right. So that the other big one today. So Christian Watson and Aaron Jones both did not practice. So it's looking like Aaron Jones, tomorrow we got to check in on Eckler. We got to check in on Aaron Jones. We got to check in, on DeAndre Hopkins, Jacoby Myers, Aaron Jones. He gets nicked up at least once a year. Right? I mean, that's the MO with Aaron Jones, and I'm not feeling too confident about him starting. So I have him in one of my leagues. He was tremendous last week, so we might be subjected to AJ Dillon season, whatever that means for you. We all know he sucks. He's more physical specimen than running back. But it's a damn shame because Aaron Jones, when he was given the opportunity to touch the ball in the second half, he balled the fuck out. And now, we're probably gonna have to wait a week, which, that's definitely a big blow. Who do I start on the bench? Kelly, Kadarius, Tony, Cole, Kmet, Quentin Johnson, Devin Shane, or Kyron Williams? I would probably go with Kyron Williams. How would you feel about Puka? I think that this is the wrong defense for Puka to be going against. And historically in fantasy football, when we all go crazy about some guy who comes out of nowhere, he tends to go back into the shadows the following week. Still hope for Antonio Gibson. Maybe, whenever you have a new offensive coordinator and the initial reveal, doesn't really have the player involved heavily, that's concerning. So, I mean, you're not going to cut him. You're going to wait another week or two, but not the best start. Starting D. Pierce with confidence this week. I mean, listen, I like Dameon Pierce too. This is a really bad team. They're well coached though, so I do have faith in DeMeco Ryans, but Devin Singletary is also not going anywhere. Who wins the trade? Cup and D Hop and Aaron Jones, or CMC, Pierce, and Zeke? Oh man. Wow. I would have to say the Jones side, but that's also the very injured side. So, all right. Frank Clark missing a couple of weeks for the Broncos. So nothing is going right for the Denver Broncos. So Frank Clark is injured. Tough matchup for Hirsch. Still start him over Musgrave if Watson sits. If Watson sits, I would put Musgrave in there because it is a tough matchup. Deion Jackson, no way. Bigsby or Tajay Spears, full PPR. Wow, that's all you got, Kevin? This must be the deepest league in creation. God. I'd have to say Spears. No confidence in any of them. Puka or Jordan Addison, half PPR. I think I'm gonna go Jordan Addison. Because Justin Jefferson's going to have to deal with Darius Slay. And listen, when they faced each other last year, Slay did very well against him. Who do you enjoy most? What do you enjoy most? Oh, what do I enjoy? I just, I teach. So the teaching aspect of it, I really love, of coaching football. I do coach wide receivers, which is what I used to play when I was in high school, and I was a slot receiver. So it's nice to kind of share your experiences with, I guess the next generation. Sorry about that glare in the back, guys. It's that time of the day here in New York. Do you trust Waller or put in Dalton Kincaid? No, I trust Waller. I do trust Waller. A.J. Dillon just got dropped. Should I trade Gus Edwards for A.J.? You could. I don't like either one, unfortunately. Picked up Jordan Love off waivers. Would you start him over Daniel Jones? I would. I definitely would. And the Giants, Arizona it seems like it's a good matchup, but this Giants offensive line, they may not even have Andrew Thomas, and they struggled with him last week. I don't like A.J. Dillon, Ed. I never have. I think he's just a big body. He doesn't catch the ball well. Not a fan of him at all. And he's really clogged up Aaron Jones, which just pisses me the hell off. Brandon Cooks, Mark, may not even play. He's got a grade 1-ish, MCL sprain. So he may not even play. Kyren Williams, I am curious to see how many touches he gets. So I would go Kyren Williams. Flex Gus Wilson or JSN, Garrett Wilson. I would go Garrett Wilson over JSN. Tampa or Cleveland. I like Cleveland. And then Kyren Williams or Cooks, Kyren Williams. I got to go Kyren Williams here. All right, let me put up the schedule now so I can give you some more to the moon and to the bench. We've already done a few of these already. So I already gave you guys my survivor pick, which is the 49ers, and that's just an easy one. Giants over Cards. I mean, you could. The Cards are, they really just have James Conner and Hollywood Brown. Maybe I don't think they can get him the ball. Any other sleeper tight ends? Zach Ertz. Giants never defend the tight end well. All right, so tonight, let's start with tonight. So Eagles Vikings. You're starting everybody. You're starting Devontae Smith, A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts. Kirk Cousins in a super flex league. You're going to start him in a single league. You try to do better there. I am curious tonight about Alexander Mattison. So if you do the handcuff running back strategy, you pick up Ty Chandler, all right, if you have the extra spot, and then just drop him at the end of the game if Mattison makes it through okay. But Mattison did not play well last week. He did not play well last year. And I was one who told you guys, be very careful. I didn't like what I saw of him last year. And there's no proof that he can hold up over the course of the season. So, that's what we're going to have to see tonight. I would try to not start him if you could. I think he's more flex than running back too, talking about Alexander Mattison. But you're starting Jordan Addison, you're starting Justin Jefferson, you're starting TJ Hawkinson, you're also starting Dallas Goedert. All right. And I do think it's to the moon, Devontae Smith. I think Devontae Smith is a to the moon guy tonight. I think that he, A.J. Brown is on the deeper routes. I think the Eagles, they really emphasized the short game last week. Devontae Smith is instant separation right off the snap. So I think he's a to-the-moon guy this week. And to the bench, really, Alexander Mattison really kind of deserves that attention. Atlanta Falcons, Green Bay Packers, you're going to start both of these running backs for Atlanta. To the bench, Drake London. To the bench, Kyle Pitts until further notice. Listen, this is the second year of this nonsense. The second year. All right? So we've got more than enough evidence of what's going on there. Romeo Doubs, you're starting, okay? A.J. Dillon, Nope, I'm not starting. I don't even think he's going to get lion's share touches. I think the staff is a little bit down on him. I really do. I'm not starting A.J. Dillon unless I really have to. Luke Musgrave, I would start him. I definitely would. And you know what? He should have had a touchdown last week. We all know that. Dalvin Cook, Josh Kelly, or Devin or Shane. Tough matchups, all of them. I would say Josh Kelly because he's going to get the workload. All right, Las Vegas, Buffalo. Listen, we all know Stephon Diggs, Josh Allen. This is a get-right matchup for them. James Cook to the moon. To the moon, James Cook, 100%. He's going to ball the hell out in this game. You're obviously starting Devontae Adams and Josh Jacobs. Jimmy Garoppolo, not a chance. Do we trust Josh Kelly? Yes, I do trust him to get the work, but this is a tough matchup. All right, Cincinnati, Baltimore. You're starting everybody, all right, with the exception of Odell. Odell's going to the bench. Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, both T. Higgins. And I think T. Higgins could be to the moon this week. Obviously Jamar Chase. I'm not going to pick the obvious guys to the moon, but I do think T. Higgins, 8 targets last week. He was better than the numbers showed, and I think you got to get him back out there for sure. Zay Flowers, yes. Although I wouldn't be surprised if he takes a little bit of a step back. Baltimore running backs, I'm not bothering with either one of them, Justice Hill or Gus Edwards. Hey, Gerard, how are you? All right, Seattle, Detroit. I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to go to the moon. I'm starting him. I think he's going to get more carries. You still start David Montgomery, and obviously Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jared Goff, in deeper single leagues. Geno Smith, however, I would bench. To the bench, Geno Smith. Pat Mahomes had trouble with this pass rush last week. And if Pat Mahomes has trouble with it, then Geno Smith, who was very shaky last week, has to show that he's not going to turn back into a pumpkin. I'm a little worried about that. You are starting Tyler Lockett. You are starting DK Metcalf. And Kenneth Walker. Obviously, you're starting Kenneth Walker. Should we hit the panic button on Jamar Chase? No. You're never going to hit the panic button with Jamar Chase. All right, Los Angeles, I already told you to the moon with Keenan Allen. Mike Williams, same thing. Justin Herbert, same thing. Tennessee, you're only starting Derrick Henry. That's it. That is the only guy you're starting there. Josh Kelly, yeah, you could start him. But, again, I think it's going to be a little bit of a struggle. Kadarius Toney, Mark, you can give him another week, but I'm not holding my breath there. Excuse me. Tampa Bay, Chicago, Mike Evans to the moon this week. All right. He has a history of torching the Bears. And listen, there's already drama, supposedly, according to team reporters and whatnot, and the unnamed sources in that Chicago locker room. That loss was so bad last week to Green Bay that maybe, there's already confidence shaken in the coaching staff. I told you my concerns that I had with Justin Fields. If he's not running or picking up points in garbage time, things could get really ugly for him. Mike Evans to the moon for sure this week. Chicago now, a little different. DJ Moore, you're going to start him, but I didn't like what I saw last week. Cole Kmet got more targets. I think to the bench, Khalil Herbert. Ruscon Johnson, I think he's making a push. I think he opened some eyes last week. He gave the team spark in the second half. I think, he's somebody we need to watch very closely. All right, Kansas City, Jacksonville. Listen, I think Evan Engram is going to the moon this week. Kansas City is not great defending the tight end. They give up a lot of passing yardage, a lot of passing scores. So Trevor Lawrence, another guy who's to the moon this week. He's going to put up a lot of numbers. I think you do start Zay Jones again. Christian Kirk, I wouldn't. Travis Etienne, yes. You're doing every Jaguar not named Christian Kirk. Kansas City, Kadarius Toney, Sky Moore. Don't make me laugh. No. Isaiah Pacheco, you can do that. I would flex Flowers over Lockett, Charles. Broncos or Giants D. I guess Giants over Broncos. That Broncos team already looks dysfunctional. All right, so Indianapolis, Houston, you're starting Michael Pittman. As a matter of fact, Michael Pittman is a to-the-moon candidate. And again, I might be very wrong about both Michael Pittman and Anthony Richardson. I've already spoken about Richardson earlier today. Those are the only two Colts I would start. And really, it's just Dameon Pierce in Houston. Nico Collins, you could if, in your deeper league, but I would try to do better than that. San Francisco, Los Angeles Chargers. San Francisco, Los Angeles Rams. Hey, listen, Matthew Stafford looked pretty freaking good last week. He absolutely looked good. He looked healthy. Ball was coming out quick, on target. The line actually protected him. He looked pretty freaking good last week. Now he's to the bench this week, 100%, because he's taking on San Francisco. Puka Nacua, you're almost obligated to play him because you spent a lot of fab money or you used a high draft waiver wire to get him. So you're forced to play him. Kyron Williams to the bench. Cam Akers obviously is to the bench. This defense is legit. You're starting all the 49er name players, including Brock Purdy. Giants, Cardinals, you're still going to go with James Conner, but I also think to the moon, Zach Ertz. He had a lot of targets last week. This is a Giants team historically struggles defending the tight end. You're playing Saquon Barkley. Obviously, you're playing Darren Waller. Daniel Jones, I do like Daniel Jones this week. I think Daniel Jones will get back on track. All right, Jets against Dallas. Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb. Now, CeeDee Lamb's going to go against Sauce Gardner, so it could be tough sledding for him. I don't think Brandon Cooks is going to play, so Michael Gallup gets a small boost. Jake Ferguson, it seemed like they tried to get him the ball early on last week, the tight end. But it's really just Lamb, Pollard that I'm starting there. I'm not starting Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott to the bench. Jets, Garrett Wilson to the bench, unless you really have to play him. I'm that serious about this. This Dallas defense is no joke. You're going to play Breece Hall. You're going to play Dalvin Cook as a flex because they're going to be trying to take the pressure off of Zach Wilson. All right, Washington, Denver. Jerry Jeudy, definitely to the moon. Russell Wilson wasn't bad last week. So Cortland Sutton to the bench. Javonte Williams I'm playing. I'm not playing Samaje Perine. I think Williams is going to keep getting more and more touches as we go along. The Commanders, Terry McLaurin to the bench. Jahan Dotson I'll put out there. Brian Robinson, I'll put him out there. Sam Howell, if you're in a super flex league, maybe. Lions D or Giants D? I guess Giants D. Would you start the Eagles defense or someone like Bucks or Giants? I would not start the Eagles defense. This is a tough matchup for them. Rashad White or Josh Kelly? Wow, Gerard. Man. I almost have to say Josh Kelly because Rashad White was just so bad. All right, next, Miami, New England. Obviously, Hill, Waddle, you're playing New England. Listen, Mac Jones looked good. He seems like he's adapting to this Bill O'Brien offense pretty well. Hunter Henry, I think he's the start. I think Hunter Henry is might even be the number one target on this team. Juju Smith-Schuster wasn't great. Kendrick Bourne, I know he caught the 2 touchdowns, but I'm not ready to jump in the deep end with him. Miami, Raheem Mostert. It's a tough. New England defense is tough, so if you could do better than that, I would. But you're playing Ramondre Stevenson. New Orleans, Carolina. Hunter Hurst, not the best matchup, but I still would start him if you need a tight end. Carolina, Miles Sanders, you're going to go with. New England, obviously, you're going to go with Michael Thomas. You're going to go with why can't I think today? You're going to go Chris Olave and, Jamal Williams. Okay, this is a much easier matchup for him this week, so I would throw Jamal Williams out there in a standard league only, though. And, Rashid, Shaheed, there are 3 wideouts. If you're in a deeper league, yes, but in a more shallow league, I wouldn't. All right, and in Cleveland and Pittsburgh, Amari Cooper, you're going to put him out there. Obviously, Nick Chubb, Deshaun Watson. It's a good get-right matchup. Not even get right because they shut out the Bengals, but this is a good matchup to get Cooper and Watson, at least in their numbers, right this week. Pittsburgh, Allen Robinson has got, he's mildly interesting again. He played well last week. No Deontay Johnson for a couple of weeks. I know George Pickens is somebody that will step up, and Pat Freiermuth is also banged up. I would not start Najee Harris. Najee Harris to the bench, same thing with Jaylen Warren. You're playing Nick Chubb. So that's how I would look at those guys for this week. Demario Douglas late in the season. Yeah, it's possible there, Gerard. You're right. PPR, pick 2. Breece, Puka, Kelly, Dotson, Madison. Breece, definitely. I guess you'd have to go. I guess you're going to have to go Puka because you paid a lot to get him. Would you play Waddle or Pittman? Waddle only had 5 targets. I'm still playing Waddle. I'm not playing Pittman over Waddle just yet. But I understand your rationalization. Thoughts on Zach Moss over Brees Hall? No. Definitely not. This is still the same flawed Zach Moss from Buffalo. At Brees Hall might be one of the most. He might be a top 5 running back on talent alone. What do you think about Saints defense? I like Saints defense every week. I've had them every week. And I've been telling you guys all summer. All right, Polumsky, 4.99 super chat. Pierce or Brees Hall? Brees Hall, 100%. And then start 1, Burks, Jahan Dotson, Zay Jones. I'm going Zay Jones. This is going to be a shootout. The highest over-under of the week. I believe it's 51. I'm going to go Zay Jones. And thank you again for that super chat, Polumsky. Very generous. And we have a $20 super chat from Gerard. No message. Gerard, thank you very, very much. That is more than generous. And thank you very, very much. There's no other way for me to say it. It does help with the channel, with the upkeep and everything. So Gerard, thank you very much. Very kind, very generous. And, like I say, guys, it's never expected, but greatly appreciated. It does help me out. Judy or Godwin this week? I think I'm going to go Judy. He was very good the second half of last year. There's no doubt about it. Guy who scored 180 points got on the waiver wire. Guy who scored 180 points got on the waiver wire. Just ruined my chances of my handcuff for Bijan Robinson and Christian Watson to put up Tyler Algier and Romeo Dobbs. So he screwed you, Birdman, huh? I hate when guys do stuff like that, but I mean, technically it's, I guess, within the rules, right? So, yeah, but that is kind of shitty that he would do that. All right, if not the Eagles, what defense? Cleveland. I like Cleveland. I do like the Cleveland defense this week. Listen, Pittsburgh is bad. They are bad. They're going to have 1 million sacks in that game. Yes, thank you, Fantasy Dog. Once again, thank you for those super chats, guys. And yes, it was definitely my pleasure, Gerard, to bring you the information every week. And thank you for that super chat. But yeah, so like I said, tomorrow's Friday. I can't believe tomorrow's Friday already. So I'm going to do another stream tomorrow, Football Friday in the afternoon. So look for that. And then, of course, the double stream Sunday, 11:30 in the morning, Eastern time, and then the wrap up at night. And then maybe I'll do a fantasy. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do a fantasy cast. Since I didn't do a fantasy cast this week, maybe I'll do one Sunday night, and we can discuss how we're doing. What do you guys think about that Sunday night fantasy cast? I think I might be interested in doing that because I wasn't able to do it today, and I was really looking forward to doing it. And then I had this meeting come up last minute. So that's what I'm thinking. So, that sounds like a plan. And then definitely next Thursday, fantasy cast. Dotson, Zay Jones, Zay Flowers, or Elijah Moore. PPR pick 1. Wow. I would eliminate Dotson if it's PPR. I would have to say Zay Flowers slightly over Zay Jones. Do you like Pats D rest of season? Yeah, they're always going to be good. John, they're always going to be good. Yeah, Bill Belichick as your coach, you're going to be very good. Any updates on Mark Andrews? He was limited today. Aaron Jones did not practice. James Conner was limited. So, yeah, I have 2 of those guys. I have Jones and Conner. Jones on one team, Conner on the other. And that's the deal with both of them. They both get banged up, especially James Conner. So, we're just going to have to check in tomorrow. That's why tomorrow's stream will be important. So make sure you jump on, probably thinking around 5 o'clock. All right. You're welcome, Chris. Do you have a Cash App account? I do have a Venmo. Yes, I do have a Venmo. I can post that on the channel if you want me to. Boom, a kicker. Asking me what kicker I would use. And also, Gerard, I do have a PayPal on the homepage of the channel. So anybody that was interested, I have a PayPal on the home channel. Again, I never expect anything, any donation or whatnot, but always appreciative. Would you trade Flowers for Monty? No, I wouldn't do that because I think Jahmyr Gibbs, while I do like Monty, he is what he is. I mean, Zay Flowers, we don't know what he is yet, and we've gotten a very good glimpse of it so far. Free agents already seems like a wasteland already after week 1. It's been a lot of injuries already. Certainly big name guys, big name players, and it's really, and I feel like this happens more and more now. whether it's supplements these guys are taking, overtraining, I don't know what it is. Bigger, stronger, the muscle fibers just can't hold up anymore. But these guys are getting hurt more and more and more. Yeah, Gerard, I do have the PayPal link is on the channel homepage. You can find it on the channel homepage there. But again, thank you very much. So, yeah, there's been a lot of injuries, no doubt about it. I have Justin Jefferson in one league, Dallas Goedert in another league, and TJ Hawkins in another league. Which one has the better game setting thoughts on all three? I like all three. I mean, like I said, there's going to be a lot of points. I think Jefferson's going to be good, but he's got a tough matchup at Slay. So I think that, I don't think we should automatically assume 120-yard, 10-catch bonanza from Jefferson, but, he's always going to get his numbers. Dallas Goedert, I think, is going to get more targets this week, as I think they're going to make a concerted effort to get him the ball. And TJ Hawkinson will certainly, especially if Slay is on Jefferson, there's going to be more opportunities for him underneath. And Hawkinson has been a target hog since coming to Minnesota. So I think he's fine every week. You don't even ever think about taking him out. So I think all are going to be fine. Zay Jones or JSN. I think long-term this season, JSN, but I think immediately Zay Jones because they have the Chiefs this week. And there's going to be a lot of passes thrown in that game. And what's interesting, too? I believe Tua Tagovailoa is the favorite for MVP right now. And last year, he was right up there as the MVP favorite before disaster struck. Now, the thing is with Tua, he might be the most polarizing player in football. All right. You hear it all the time. People make fun of the guy all the time because he can't stay healthy. He's always hurt. He gets made fun of so much. It's unbelievable. But the guy could play. I mean, anyone who saw him at Alabama knows how good he was. Every pass right on the money, right on the numbers. His accuracy is scary. It's Troy Aikman kind of accuracy. All right. Troy Aikman was the most accurate quarterback I've ever seen in my life. I don't think Tua is that far from that. And I don't say that lightly. Trust me. And the results back it up. I mean, this passing attack is sick. So long as he can stay on the field, he's going to put up MVP type numbers. But he's got a bad NFL body. What do I mean by that? It's not built to withstand. It's a very slight frame, lacking muscle, lacking size. It doesn't hold up well to an NFL pass rush, and that's why he gets hurt a lot. My opponent has Alexander Madison starting. Should I be nervous? No, I would not be nervous about it. He didn't play well last week against Tampa Bay. All right. And he didn't play well last year when he got the opportunity. There was a lot of question marks. People were going too crazy with Alexander Madison. We've been waiting a while for him to get this opportunity, but he has a lot to prove. All right. How was you able to select JJ? I had the number 2 pick in my draft. First pick was Christian McCaffrey. Please tell me what Chiefs wide receiver stash. Rashee Rice. I have Rashee Rice, and I'm going to, in a deeper league, I think you could play him already. Andy Reid's not an idiot, obviously. He's one of the best coaches in the NFL. He's going to the Hall of Fame. He saw him catch a touchdown in his debut. Not easy to do in an Andy Reid offense. He looked very comfortable right away, and I think that's going to, especially with the way Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore struggled, I think that the light bulb is going to go off in Andy Reid's head. He's going to design a lot for Rashee Rice. Flex, Wilson, JS, or Gibbs. I would go Gibbs. Would you play Kelly over Monty? No, I would not. And Javonte? No, I would not play him. That's Tyler, it's a tough matchup, Tennessee. In fact, I have Mixon, Javonte, Kelly, Monty, pick 2. Mixon and Javonte, I probably would go with. Javonte is more dynamic than David Montgomery. Start 2 over Justin Fields. I would. I mean, I know Fields gives you that running floor, but there is not an offense that throws the ball as good as this Miami offense outside of maybe Kansas City. Sharman, yeah, he didn't look that great, John, but first game. Like I said, I traded for Kenneth Walker today, so I'm going to try to get him as a backup. Just traded Puka and Damian Harris for Godwin. Well done. This is the time to trade him. Would you trade? Because listen, when Cooper Kupp comes back, he's going to be the guy. Would you trade Josh Kelly for Kirk? I mean, you could. I mean, I don't think Eckler's injury is long term. So, I mean, I guess you could capitalize on it now if you don't need him this week. Travis Kelce almost had a season-ending injury. Yes. He really did. I mean, they thought that it was a possible ACL injury, and he would be done. So, and it doesn't get any bigger than that. A guy who's an actual cheat code at tight end. Did drop Deontay. No, I wouldn't drop him, George. I think that's a little rash. You see what I did there? Rash. I think that I think Deontay Johnson could be back in 2 weeks, and he's a target hog when he's on the field. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Chris. Does Tyler Lockett have a bounce back week? Yeah, it was. He got banged up. Tyler Lockett has more than proven himself over the years. He deserves the benefit of the doubt. I've given you this stat before. He's the only receiver in football the last 4 years to have caught 8 or more touchdowns. All right, so that's always a good trivia question to give to somebody. Who's the only receiver in football to have caught 8 touchdowns at least each of the last 4 seasons? It's Tyler Lockett. All right, so Tyler, that is a good trivia question. I got offered A.J. Dillon and Christian Watson for Sanders and Kirk. I'm hesitant to accept it because it's only been 1 week. I wouldn't do that. Now, A.J. Dillon, listen, what's his name is going to be back. Aaron Jones is going to be back after a week. So I wouldn't, this doesn't sound like a major injury for him. So I wouldn't, and I shouldn't say that. I dislike A.J. Dillon as a player. Lockett had 2 big drops last game. Yeah, listen, but again, John, he's only 30. Well, I mean, listen, that is the age where trouble starts. You're right. He's never had injury issues before. He's been very, very consistent. He's a trusted short to intermediate target for Geno Smith, who generally prefers to throw to those depths. So, that's a good thing. Okay, I see what you're saying. I'm sorry. The opportunity was there. He'd get the targets. I don't think there's any doubt that he's going to be just fine. Chiefs are in serious trouble if Kelsey misses time, gets hurt again. Their offense. Yeah, it was bad. There's no doubt about it. Anybody who watched that game, it was bad. I mean, it was almost comical how bad Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore were. Rashee Rice was a bright spot, though. I still think Richie James, they're missing an opportunity with Richie James, as I think he can be somebody that can help them. He did a nice job at the Giants last year. I saw every game he played with the Giants as a Giants fan. He was good. He's out of the slot. He's shifty. He's quick. He gets in and out of his cuts quickly. He's got good hands. I don't think he even dropped 1 pass last year. So I think Richie James is somebody we need to maybe just keep an eye on, monitor throughout the early portion of the season. Because, listen, Andy Reid eventually is going to get fed up with Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore if hasn't already. Start 6. I have 3 have to be wide receivers. Amari, I would start Amari. Hopkins, I don't think he's going to play. Godwin, Flowers. I'm going Amari. I'm going to go Godwin and Flowers. And then Pacheco, because they're using him more in the passing game. Kelly. And I'm going to go Amari, Hopkins, Godwin, Flowers, Pacheco, and Kelly. I don't like those running backs. But the 4 wideouts, I would go with all of them. And then I would have it Pacheco, Kelly, Swift, and then Najee. God, Najee was so bad last week. It's just not getting any better. It's just getting worse. James caught 27% of New York Giants CD passes last year. Yes, Fantasy Dog. Thank you. He's very good. 10-182 game with San Francisco. Yes, I do remember that. So, Richie James has a history of producing. Flex Christian Watson, Samaje Perine. I don't think Watson's playing. He hasn't practiced again. Samaje Perine, Jackson Smith. I have 2 flex spots. I'm starting Debo in one of them. I would probably go Perine because Watson's not playing. If Watson's playing, you're obviously playing Watson. Geno Smith or Anthony Richardson. Plumsky, you got to go Anthony Richardson. Like I said, I'm eating a little bit of crow on that, at least through 1 week. Debo and Zay for Devontae Smith and Jerry Jeudy. I prefer Smith and Jeudy. That's the side I reside on there because Devontae Smith is the best player in that deal, and Jerry Jeudy might be the second best. So whoever, if it's you have Devontae Smith or Jeudy, hold on to him. If not, trade for them. Do I roll the dice on Jackson Smith? Do I still go P. Ryan? I mean, I would still go P. Ryan. Jackson Smith was not really involved last week, so I still think that you have to go with the more certainty of P. Ryan, who's probably going to get 8 to 10 carries and 2 to 3 receptions or targets. All right, so that's what I would go with there. If I had to choose between the two. Nothing new on the. I like to check the news here. So for Hopkins, it's an ankle. So that was, and same thing with Eckler too. All right. All right, JSN or Elijah Moore. I do like Elijah Moore. Guys, he was good last week. They just didn't get the connections, just weren't there. They're going to use him in the run game. Very athletic receiver. I think he's going to be good. J.K. Dobbins injury screwed me otherwise. Yeah, J.K. Dobbins, I mean, I think we're all finally done with this guy after this year. And listen, I admit he was intriguing coming into the year with health for however long it lasted. And he just can't. You got to feel for the guy. You just can't stay healthy. How's Eckler's ankle? It looks like it might prevent him from playing. If he practices tomorrow, then I think he'll be good to go, Terrell. But he's missed 2 practices already. He does a fantasy show during the week, and he said to go pick up Josh Kelly. And he plays fantasy. He owns himself. So if you have Austin Eckler himself telling you to go pick up Joshua Kelly, he knows something. Running back, wide receiver, flex, CMC Mixon, benches Akers, CMC Mixon. Yeah, it looks good to me. Lloyd benches Akers. I don't think that's going to happen this year the way it looks. Should I sub? No, I think you got the right guys in there. I wouldn't do anything. Had J.K. Dobbins winning comeback player of the year. Yeah, listen, running the ball, he has it. Very explosive player. 0 to 60 in a flash, but he just can't stay healthy. Montgomery and Drake, London. For Keenan Allen, God, I just hate Drake London. That's a little steep, though. I think it's a little steep for Keenan Allen, who's, one hamstring pull away from being out a while. That's a little steep. As much as I don't like Drake London, he's going to have games where he's going to put up points. It has to happen. He's just too talented. And David Montgomery gets a lot of work. Should I have dropped Akers for Kyron Williams? I looks like it, Polumsky. It certainly seems that way, but I don't think you can, I don't think you could bang your head against the wall for that. Listen, I'm not a big Kyron Williams guy. I saw him in Notre Dame. He's not a fast runner. He can catch the ball though. But the Rams historically don't target running backs. So I don't know how high this is going to go in terms of the upside of the guy. I just don't see it. Final thoughts on Dobbins. Was this the end of his career? Do you think he'll be back? And so is Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers has already said he's coming back next year. So, the Jets haven't signed anybody. They have Tim Boyle as the third stringer, who's now the backup. Carson Wentz is out there, but he's like a locker room cancer. I wouldn't bring him in there. Jacoby Brissett would have been perfect. And I think that's the guy who the Jets should have got. They should have opened up the vault and signed him. I know he signed a pricey deal with the Commanders, but he was the guy. I think the Jets, what they need is just somebody to hand off, be accurate in the short to intermediate range, and be able to move the ball with his legs. Jacoby Brissett checks all those boxes. He's just good enough to win you games, but not be a consistent starter. Jets, I'm looking at Tom Brady, Patriots, thank God. No, thank God it's not happening. That is never going to happen. That is never going to happen. And Matt Ryan can happen because he can't move. And this Jets offensive line is just simply not very good. It's just not good. Oh, let me get to the picks here. Let me see. Hold on. Well, I'm going to do the rest of my picks tomorrow. Let me see. NFL betting lines. Let's take a look at this now, actually. All right. So tonight, right now, it's Vikings +6. +6. It's only a lean. I pick the game every Thursday just for entertainment purposes, unless it's one that I feel strong about, which I'll bet, which was the under last week, which hit. I think the Vikings +6 is a decent enough bet. I wouldn't put money on it. I think it'll be a competitive game throughout. Rashee Rice over Addison and flex? No, not yet. How is my team? Josh Allen, Lawrence, love the quarterback. CMC, Connor, Montgomery. Connor, listen, you went value other than CMC. Looks great. Olave, Metcalf, Debo, Zay Flowers, Pittman. I love everything but your tight end. Would you rather have, and that's Debo, that's a really good team. Would you rather have between these 4 wide receivers? Pick 2. Jefferson, Chase. Oh, my God. Who would you rather have between these 4? Jefferson and Chase. 1 QB, 2 running backs. Okay, yeah, that's a good team, Demo, for sure. So, yeah, I'm going to lean Eagles. Now, one team that I like this week, I think it's an overreaction. Chicago Bears getting 2.5 against Tampa Bay. It was ugly last week. I can tell you right now, this is going to be one of the official picks of the week. Chicago Bears +2.5. I think this is a gross overreaction. Tampa Bay winning last week. Baker Mayfield is never consistent. I think that team, the Bears, it was a wake-up call last week. I think they're going to come out. This is a much softer defense. I think they're going to cover. So I do like the Bears getting the 2.5. All right, I'm going to look at the rest of this, and then I'll give you those picks tomorrow. I'll give you the rest of them tomorrow. I just gave you one, the Bears. That's going to be an official pick this week. Chase over Tyreek Hill, yes. I like his quarterback better, and I think he's a little. I know he got hurt last year. I get it, but I think Chase would be the better bet to stay upright than Tyreek Hill. I do. I don't know, man. Like I'm basing it too on quarterback. All right, so I see Tua Tagovailoa getting hurt much more easily than Joe Burrow. All right, Jefferson, I agree with, but Chase over Tyreek. All right. Let's see. All right. So, like I said, so I'm going to do the picks tomorrow. I'm just about ready to wrap it up. Like I said, Football Friday tomorrow. Who would you start in flex? Addison, Flowers, or Puka? I guess Flowers, but Addison's not a bad play tonight. Not Puka. 49ers is rough. That's a rough defense. So I'm going to wrap it up tonight, guys. Great stream. Appreciate the super chats. Very generous of you guys. Stream tomorrow. Just hit the notification button so that way you know what time we're going live tomorrow. And I'm sure I'll see you all then. Who would you start in flex? Addison, Flowers. I answered that one, right? Okay, yes. Chances Tyreek has a 2,000-yard season. Yes, he could definitely do that. But anyway, guys, so I'm going to sign off. I'll see you all tomorrow for Football Friday. Have a great night. Enjoy the game. And who knows, maybe I'll pop on at some point tonight if anything big happens. So until then, guys, have a great evening.